Today we have the next installment in my Chunks to Challenger series. This is a series where I go through the game chunk by chunk to help you play like a challenger. Today we're going to be talking about the two-step process. You may have heard me mention this in some of my other videos, so let's explore it a little bit more today. So what is the two-step process? The two-step process is where step one, you engage and you either force critical cooldowns or you chunk the enemy out. And then you immediately disengage after engaging. And then once your engaged tools are back up, that brings us to step two. You engage and you fully commit to the kill. And we either get the kill or we get crucial summoners, something like that. This is a very useful tool to help you find kills when you think you might not be able to. Just because you can't one-shot someone doesn't mean you can never do anything, you can never be proactive. The widest application of the two-step process is to punish defensive cooldowns. So just picture that you're versus an Ezreal or you're versus a Lucian, or you're versus Sivir, or you're versus Braum with these annoying defensive cooldowns, and you feel like you can't get anything done. We do the two-step process, we engage, we force out these critical defensive cooldowns, and then we engage once our engage is back up, because defensive spells consistently have a longer cooldown than engage spells. So the two-step process could be as obvious as forcing Ezreal's E, and then committing to the kill. It could be as subtle as popping the enemy's Guardian rune and bone plating, before committing to the kill following up. Let's just jump in and explore some examples. So for this game, we are the Tarm in Draven Tarm versus Ezreal Nautilus. Now, you might think, how on earth can Draven Tarm kill an Ezreal? And of course, it's going to be the two-step process. So let's force Ezreal's E in our step one, and then step two, we will commit to the kill. And we can notice that Ezreal's E is a ridiculously long cooldown, right? This is going to get reduced a little bit if he lands some Qs, but it's just still wildly longer than any type of engage tool there might be. If I can force out his defensive cooldown with my W, I would take that trade, or even with my Q. Obviously, that would be much better, so I can have that W to potentially commit once he doesn't have his E. So let's just see what this can look like. Step one, we are going to force his E. I notice him by himself a little bit too isolated, and then I say, no, that's not going to cut it. I'm going to look to Q, force his E. If he doesn't E, I'm going to Q him. I'm going to run at him. I am guaranteed to force his E regardless. And so now, huge cooldown. My Q is pretty much back up already. I do have my W, and then I'm going to posture to punish this cooldown. You can see that I'm actively looking to achieve something on this window because now his main defensive tool is gone. I'm looking to be creative. I'm looking to find a pocket of fog to even engage from so that it's even harder for him to react to. So you can see I just move into the bush confidently, press my W, and now he is in deep trouble. Find my Q on him, he still doesn't have his E up, and now he has to flash. And so now there's a huge 5-minute window where if anything like this happens again, he's just going to die. Okay, here's the next example. We are Draven Pyke versus Lucian Lux, and this is going to be a clear as day example of the two-step process. I commit my E and my Q to force out his dash, and now he has a relatively long cooldown on his defensive tool, and I'm going to pounce on an opportunity. And it's very important to not hesitate in this window, because these windows can be quite narrow. You need to have a feel for how long their defensive spell is. And so it's still down, but I'm posturing, right? I'm waiting until he's a little bit too far out of position. My E cooldown is shorter than his defensive tool, and then I commit the flash, I commit the hook, and you can see the pretty precise timing here, right? Like his E is just coming back off cooldown now that I have stunned him, that I have flipped him away. We wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't initially force his E. Okay, here we are the Thresh in Misfortune Thresh versus Xayah and Senna. And this is going to be more of an example of getting that initial chunk as the first step. And then the second step, we can look for a kill. So here I'm going to walk up and look to trade onto the Xayah. And she is heavily softened up now on that trade. And this is now going to give us some options moving forwards. Because either the enemy support is AFK or they're doing something spicy in terms of double jungling. Not really important to me. We're going to crash this wave. Step one has been done. Step two, engage and commit to the kill. So I'm going to walk forwards. I'm going to fish for a hook. It lands, and now she's actually able to get killed. If we didn't get that initial chunk, then this whole kill would look completely different. And just notice in the first step of the two-step process, I'm not overcommitting, right? I'm doing my play, I'm doing my order, and I'm cutting the trade. There's no point in me just trying to extend the trade, run forwards, maybe find one more order, but I'll get hit by the minions, and I'll get heavily traded on the back end there. Use your cooldowns, do a short, concise trade, and then immediately back off and understand your trade window. Okay, here we are Rel with Kai'Sa against Ezreal and Karma. And so this is going to be about punishing Ezreal's E cooldown. Let's see what we can get done. Of course, if I'm approaching this lane and I'm just never looking to press my W because Ezreal has his E, I'm never going to get anything done. They're just going to slowly control and poke us out. But I'm happy in trying to trade my W and my engage tool for his E. Now, in terms of what happens here is we kind of get the best of both worlds, right? We get Ezreal's E out for my much lower cooldowns for engage spells, and we get a big chunk. And so now we're really, really set up for success. Even if he eat away and stayed full health, then the next time my engage spells are up, that would give me a big window of opportunity to chunk him and force those critical cooldowns, or to even potentially kill him. But now our second step is almost guaranteed to lead to a kill. Now, the two-step process, this is a useful tool if you just don't have that 100 to 0 threat. It's to help you gain confidence, to be proactive if the kill isn't obviously in front of you. Sometimes you're just going to be able to one-shot the enemy. And then, of course, we're not going to tunnel on the two-step process. You don't want to engage and then just kind of back off and let them live if you can kill them. So we're just going to have a look for this example. I just wanted to paint that picture, right? If you can one-shot, just one-shot. So here we're going to be Pyke with Aphelios first, Ashe and Milio. I know I have an insane amount of kill threat as Pyke in laning phase in the 2v2. And so I'm just going to commit. I'm going to EQ flash, and then she's just going to die, right? And that's just the nature of my champion. If I was a different champion here, I might have to two-step. I might have to force her flash, or I might have to get her really, really low, back off, and then later on commit. If you find yourself picking playmakers or picking engagers and not really getting anything out of the laning phase and feeling like you're just too defensive, then this tool can go a long way for you. For this next example, this is from the perspective of Rakan. This is a gold student of mine, and we've been working on the two-step. And here we are just going to see a very classic two-step. We're versus Sivir. Defensive spell shield 24 seconds long, our W noticeably shorter. Step 1, engage. Force out the long cooldown, immediately back off, nice short and concise trade there. And then next time our engage tool is up, we're going to be posturing to commit. And whether that commit of the fight leads to a kill, or whether that committing leads to valuable summoners, whatever. W's up. Find that W, and then we're just going to be able to collect a pretty straightforward kill. Anyways, just wanted to keep it short and sweet today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. See you guys around. And for those who fall asleep to watching my videos, good night and sleep tight. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed. Big thank you to all of my Patreons over here. I really couldn't do this without you. The links for coaching, for Patreon, for my School of Support Discord server, for socials, they're all going to be linked in the description below. Any and all support is greatly appreciated.